It's finally here, the S21 FE. Flagship features packed in a lower price. It packs the same powerful processor in the S21 flagship series, the same amazingly bright and super smooth display, protected using the latest and toughest Gorilla Glass Victus. It's got this beautiful flat design and it's available in some really fancy pastel colors. It comes with One UI 4, Android 12 right out of the box. It's got stereo speakers, it's 5G ready, 25-watt fast charging, and it's actually got a larger battery and larger display when compared to the regular S21. But the S21 FE has come after 1 year of the S21 flagship launch, and so does it make sense to get it now in 2022? Let's find out. Look, from a design perspective, a lot of it is the same as the S21. It also does not have a microSD card slot, so you cannot expand storage. But otherwise, very similar. Plastic back, metal sides, and a flat front display that looks gorgeous. The difference is the camera cutout, which is a hybrid design. They took the cutout like in the Galaxy S21 and crossed it with the A52s style, so the cutout is a part of the panel. But hey, it looks good. However, the regular S21 does feel a bit more premium. Now the entire body is IP68 certified for water and dust resistance. Also, it's a pretty light phone for its size, which I think is a good thing, especially for long, continuous sessions with your smartphone. A quick comparison with the S20 FE from last to last year, the difference is pretty clear. The S21 FE has a much more distinct cutout and that olive color feels fresh. The S21 FE has an optical fingerprint sensor instead of the ultrasonic one that you got in the S21. But hey, it works well, it's fast, no problems. It supports up to 25-watt fast charging, but there's no charger in the box, just like with the Galaxy S21 and the higher-up models. You also don't get any pre-applied screen protector, earphones, or protective casing in the box. Those are just things you're never going to see again. Now, this too has stereo speakers, so both the earpiece and the bottom grill output sound, which is great for casual listening and viewing. And of course, it then supports Dolby Atmos without actually connecting earphones. Also, interestingly, it has a slightly larger battery capacity than the base flagship S21, which I think is really good. The display is hands down the best in this price bracket. For this price, getting a dynamic AMOLED screen with 120Hz refresh rate and a peak brightness of 1200 nits is as good as it can get. And by the way, this is not adaptive refresh. It stays constant at 120Hz and does not vary depending on requirement. But what I was really happy with is that they've utilized Gorilla Glass Victus for screen protection, which is like the best you can get in the market at this point in time. It's the same protection you see in the Galaxy S21 Ultra too. It's tough, durable, with very high resistance to scratch and cracks. And one thing to note, it's a 6.4-inch display, which is a bit larger than the 6.2-inch display of the S21. So if you're into big displays, this is even better. But the S21's form factor is definitely going to feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, one of the best things is that the phone ships with One UI 4.0 riding on Android 12, so you get all the One UI 4 goodies. And even though this is a fan edition, they did not leave out any of the premium features like Samsung DeX, wireless power share, link to Windows, enhanced processing, and Bixby routines. All of that is right here. So from a software perspective, this is as good as the flagship level phones, except there are some cutbacks in the camera software, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. And even if you talk about performance, it's at par with the S21. It's got the same processor lineup, 8 gigs of RAM, and a fast internal storage. It is the most powerful processor Samsung has ever used on any of its phones up until now. Sure, with the Galaxy S22 launching, the performance is going to be even better, but those phones are going to be a lot more expensive. So yeah, this is still a really good performing CPU, and you're going to get it in the Galaxy S21 FE. I mean, the phone usage is super smooth, no issues with multitasking, and you can really enjoy the most demanding of games. I played Asphalt 9, Call of Duty, PUBG, all at their highest settings, and it was a phenomenal experience. The display is outstanding, the colors are just popping out, the contrast is super, and it boosts the game experience to a whole other level. The sound pumping from, the stereo speakers adds to that gaming experience. And so you feel really good about playing games on this phone. And even after 30 minutes of almost continuous gameplay, the phone did not get hot. Sure, it was warm, as that's normal and expected, but it didn't get hot, and it was surprising because I remember with the S21 Ultra, the phone was getting hot initially as it learned over time about my usage. But this phone, it was just very marginally warm, and that's great. And now let's talk about cameras, and camera hardware or camera performance is probably the only other area along with design where the S21 FE has a few cutbacks. But the cutbacks aren't so bad. So the specs are right here in front of you, but what really matters is how much does it impact performance and hence the picture quality. The camera provides for up to 30x space zoom. Of course, it does come at the cost of quality, but the option is there nevertheless. So here are a few pictures that I took, and you can download these pictures from the link in the description to evaluate the quality for yourself. But I do feel the pictures have come out really well. This video that you're watching is already in 4K, and if you're watching it on a large 4K display, you can tell the quality is actually quite good. It was in fact slightly gloomy while I was taking all these photos, and so in brighter sunlight, it's probably going to be a bit better. Also, here's a side-by-side comparison of photos taken using the primary lens on the left and ultra-wide on the right, just so you get an understanding of the field of view of the two lenses. You can definitely see some fisheye effect towards the edges of the ultra-wide photos, but yeah, that's expected. The question is it acceptable and manageable for you? And I was quite blown away with the portrait effect on the lens. It was so good. The subject in focus so sharp and the background so softly blurred. Pictures in the portrait mode did look very cinematic to me, and it's right here in front of you. And here are photos taken in portrait mode using the 32 megapixel front-facing camera, and these are taken in regular mode, all in wide angle. In terms of video, here's a sample I shot in 4K at 30 FPS, although the phone does support 60 FPS. And again, you tell me, what do you think? I really felt these look good. And you know, when you watch it on the S21 FE AMOLED display, it actually looks even better because frankly, the colors on the S21 FE screen are really good. Now the lens does support OIS, and there's also a built-in super steady mode if you so wish to use. And even indoors, where the lighting was not as good as it was outdoors, you can see that the video quality is pretty good. The noise is pretty minimum, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. Both the primary and telephoto lens support optical image stabilization, and there's also in-video stabilization. And in terms of camera modes, it's got everything except director's view, wherein you could switch between all the lenses at any given point in time. But it does have dual recording, which allows you to record vlogger style. So both the front and the rear cameras can be activated at the same time. Again, all samples in the link below in the description. So download those pictures and videos and evaluate the quality for yourself. Now I may add more photos, but time, we've got the pandemic happening and it's difficult to sort of step out too much, but I'll try my best and I'll continue to update it. And now let me quickly touch upon the battery life. Now I haven't spent too much time with the phone to really comment on battery life yet, but on paper it does have 10% more battery capacity than the S21, so it should last about an hour or two more than the Galaxy S21 did. But overall, if you unplug your phone at 8 AM in the morning, you should have about 5 to 10% left to spare towards the end of the night. But if you're like a heavy all-day outdoor user, I do suspect you may need to charge it for about 15 to 20 minutes sometime during the day. But yeah. Alright, let me wrap this up for you now. The Galaxy S21 FE, if you look at its features, the experience, and the performance, it's a pretty good phone according to me. I mean, it's got flagship level display, flagship processor, and it only sacrifices cameras by a bit, which to most people won't even register or matter in day-to-day use. So one way to look at it is that the S21 FE is basically the Galaxy S21 with slightly inferior design and cameras, but same performance, larger display, and larger battery for a lower cost. And if you look at it this way, the S21 FE actually feels better than the Galaxy S21. Now another way to look at it is the Galaxy S22 is about to launch, which means there may be a price drop in the Galaxy S21 and the S21 FE phones. So whether you buy now or you gamble with time, wait for the prices to drop and buy then, either ways, you get the Galaxy S21 FE home. And if you've anyway made up your mind to get it, see if you want to get the 256 gigs variant because as I said, there is no expandable storage. So there's a 128 gigs variant and a 256 gigs variant. Just see which one you want to get. Anyway, I hope this was really helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. And as always, guys, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification icon. It helps the channel a lot and really helps me grow it even more. All right, see you guys in the next one.